It affects Mother Earth, it affects the animals, it goes through every part of the food chain, and it's going to end our population and make us extinct. There's nothing good about GMOs except it puts money in the corporations' pockets that make it, manufacture it, sell it. Any child that ingests it has a very high likelihood of infertility, more diseases, and it's lowering the educational assets of these children. They can't think clearly. Their grades are dropping. We have more and more children dropping out, and nobody knows why. And in my opinion, GMOs are a very large part of it. It's in everything that you eat, unless you eat organic, and it's even in small amounts in the organic food right now. So we have to stop it before we don't have a choice as to what we put in our stomachs anymore, or how we take care of our children, or what we can enjoy on our planet, because this really is something that is the most devastating thing that we've allowed to happen, and it really is us as a society that's allowing it to happen, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop now.
But this is the biggest thing that's facing our life right now here in America. We eat this stuff every day.
Where do I begin? Monsanto with their reign of terror. I myself, give you a little background, food science and nutrition major from Cal Poly Pomona. I've studied this extensively. This is my passion, is food. Monsanto, I mean, they're genetically altering our seeds, our crops. The biggest threat is it spilling over into organic farmers. It's going to be super seeds that will eventually spread in the wind. They'll be pollinated. They think they can control genes, but they really can't. So we're just trying to protect our food, because one commonality us as a people have is food. We all eat, we all gather around to eat, and they're trying to take that away from us. The very core foundation of human life, they're trying to control and make money off of. So that's why I'm here. That's why we're protesting, and people need to know.
Faces face a big business. Faces face a big business. No face, no heart, no mind, no right.
Seems like a basic right to know what I'm eating, to know what's in the packages that I buy, what's in the foods I consume. So I'm hoping to influence the government to say, yeah, you have the right to know what's in the food, just put it on the label. That's all I'm asking for, put it on the label. If someone else wants to eat genetically modified foods, that's their right, that's their privilege. I don't want to, and I just like to know when I pick up a package what's in that package.
Since the 70s, since I can remember as a kid. They used to drive up and down my street with these fog machines, and they were like killing mosquitoes. They told us mosquitoes. We found out later that it never really did anything to kill the mosquitoes, but that's what they said. And I grew up next to the Monsanto plant. Man, I'm telling you, they've been doing a lot of stuff ever since I was a kid. So I have no love for Monsanto.
There's a solution, and the solution is organic. Organic food, certified organic, local food. Not just local, but certified organic food. So, and the other solution is education. Find out what's happening and come to rallies like we are here today at the Federal Building, where you can get heard and make your voice known. Vote with your purchases.
Faces face. You don't get the right of an individual. You're a business, not an individual.
These are the articles that were written in the New York Times and the Los Angeles Times about not labeling GMOs. I think it's ridiculous that we don't label GMOs. In Europe, when they labeled GMOs, they ended up banning GMOs. And the people, when it was labeled, didn't want to eat that, and I don't think we do either. I think Monsanto has got a huge lobby, and I think they've bought a lot of people, and I think it's really too bad. And once we've changed the genes, there's no going back. And there's a lot of drift, you know, cross-pollination. We're not going to be able to have anything else that's nature-made if we don't watch out.
Faces face a big business. Faces face a big business.
We're just here today to support having our food labeled truthfully, and so the public knows what is actually going into our food, because the majority of citizens don't even realize what is going into our food right now, and that our seeds are being monopolized by Monsanto. And we have a right to have the real food supply that was intended for us. And how many people do you know that have chronic stomach aches now? There's so much of our population with chronic stomach aches and diseases that are in large numbers that this country's never seen before, and we need to help get ourselves back on track with good food.
We are sustainable farmers from out in the desert. We drove 4 hours to be here for this 3-hour event. I have a major beef with the Monsanto Corporation on many different levels, creating these new types of plants that are very unhealthy for your health and for the environment. And like my sign says, round up corporate criminals. This corporation is some of the biggest criminals out there. They've made billions and billions of dollars destroying people's health with Agent Orange, for starters. The PVCs that are now all over the planet, and they're also destroying people's health. They're destroying the environment with their GMOs, with their pesticides and herbicides. And my biggest beef right now is, as a sustainable farmer, is this phony food safety bill that they've pushed through, which is basically just a tool to push out the small sustainable farms so that the big ag people that they are and they support can basically have a monopoly on the food system.
Is there any way to protect organic crops from GMOs?
There's really not any way. That pollen will drift. And you know, you can be in an isolated area. That's one of the scariest things about it. And that's their basic game plan, is that pretty soon all that pollen is just going to pollute all of the other crops anyway. So there's really not a whole lot we can do about it except for stop it. Not too many varieties of fruits and vegetables are genetically modified so far, but there's more all the time. The main ones, the corn, soy, and canola, that's mostly all GMO now. So, but there's still lots of other stuff out there that they haven't made GMO yet, but they're working on it one at a time, one thing after another. So eventually, if we don't stop it now, the future is going to be a mess.
What do we do to stop it?
Garden. Get your own sustainable garden going. In the same way that Gandhi struck out against the British Empire by boycotting their textile industry, we can boycott their agribusiness industry by growing our own food. I think that's the best thing any of us can do.
Do you think the Monsanto folks are just naive, that this long-term ramifications of what they're trying to put into place to be?
No, not at all. I'm sure they realize what the long-term implications are. I think, like most people in power, that they see nothing but profits, and that's all they really care about. And so they see big profits in this, so that's what they're going for.